Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. We're so happy to have you here with us today. Today's conversation will be revolving around pro tips for living with low vision. We have two very special guests presenting for you today, Myrna Wilkins and Cheryl Frueh. Myrna Wilkins is the lead coach here at IrisVision. She's a legally blind user of IrisVision herself and has vast experience working with low vision patients and has trained hundreds of IrisVision users by walking them through the process step by step to ensure the achievement of their personal vision goals. As a legally blind individual herself, Myrna is well versed with the current low vision technology that exists on the market and the varying needs of those within this community. Cheryl Frueh is a registered occupational therapist and ophthalmologic technician with 20 years of experience in the field of low vision rehab. As the Visual Rehabilitation Program Director for Vision Care Ophthalmologic Technology since 2011, consultant with Vision Care since 2005, and as a clinic coordinator, technician, and vision rehab OT, she's contributed vast efforts to the field through the mentorship positions she has held with various successful organizations throughout the nation. Now, without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Myrna and Cheryl to discuss tips for living with low vision.
Thank you, Mel. Hi, everybody. Welcome again to another IrisVision webinar. I'm very excited to be here today with Cheryl. She is an OT, an occupational therapist in low vision. So she's going to share a lot of really great information with us regarding what people can do in their daily living activities. So Cheryl, tell us a little bit about what you do as an occupational therapist and what different types of things can cause low vision.
Okay, and thanks, Myrna. I'm so glad to be here. I'm an occupational therapist, and I've gone out to people's homes, I've worked in the clinic, and I've been an occupational therapist since 1995, and I've only worked with the visually impaired. So a lot of the eye conditions that can cause low vision are obviously macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, Stargardt's, retinitis pigmentosa, and that's just to name a few. And you can also end up with low vision because of trauma. And my biggest thing is I always consider anyone who has low vision, anybody who has their vision that's impairing their ability to complete their daily tasks is definitely, it qualifies for low vision in terms of services. Now, it may not be covered by Medicare, which requires 20/70 or less, but in terms of vision. And so what we do as occupational therapists is we're going to try to find out what activities during the day are being impacted by your visual impairment and see what we can do to help you be able to do those activities again so that you can be successful in being able to take care of yourself. And so we do health, rehabilitation, and also educate you on what you can do to help you be able to function independently and be successful in all of those activities. Okay, so some of the goals that we have in terms of occupational therapy is, first of all, we want to make sure that you're safe, and that with a visual impairment, it's often easy to not be able to see potential hazards or things that you can trip over and fall. And so we don't want those many things to happen. And so we do make recommendations in terms of environment to be able to help you with lighting, and pointing out potential hazards, making sure that there's railings and things like that that can help you to be able to navigate your environment safely. And then there's teaching new skills. And these skills are skills that help you to use the vision that you have to the best of your ability. So that's often something called eccentric viewing, and that's where you use your side vision and not your direct center vision to be able to see things more clearly if your center vision is the part that's damaged. And then once you learn to do that, you have to be able to hold that position so that you can track things and that you can also scan things, so you can find things with this sweet spot in your vision to be able to read, find the street sign, be able to see your partner's face. That's just a few. And then we also modify the environment, which again is part of that prevents accidents and injuries, and that be able to help you function and not fall, and lighting, things with lighting and contrast, and being able to also help you with modifying dials and things like that. And also to help you to use any devices or anything that you have at your disposal or that you have to be able to do those activities of daily living that you want to accomplish. And so our ultimate goal really is to get you to be able to be healthy, be able and be satisfied with your life, and being able to complete and do all the activities that you want to do, from brushing your teeth in the morning to getting into bed at night to cooking or any leisure activities, painting, knitting, golfing, any of those things, so that you can have a satisfying lifestyle. So assistive technology can also be very helpful in helping you to be able to accomplish all of the goals that you want to do. And some of that's going to depend on what the goal is, whether it's at, near, distance, intermediate. Also, how much magnification you might need, how comfortable you are with technology, and whether it's intimidating, but it doesn't need to be. And so also solutions can be costly. So we need to figure out what's going to work best to fit all of your needs and be able to have that lifestyle that you're looking for.
So great, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that information. So as we're talking about these high-tech technologies, there's all kinds of different things out there, obviously. One in particular is IrisVision, as most of you are very aware of out there. So with IrisVision, you have the ability to do all the things that Cheryl talked about in one place, which is awesome. That's what makes it that high-tech technology. And when you see what IrisVision has to offer with all the different software lenses, it's amazing all the different things that you can do, all the different tasks you can accomplish. And it's basically a virtual reality headset combined with a Samsung cell phone, and the cell phone acts like the house for the software. So when you put the IrisVision on, it's basically enhancing the sight that you have left. It's kind of bringing in things to your view that maybe you weren't able to see before. And when you have all these different options with all these different software lenses, like the bubble, the bioptic, and the different contrasted reading modes, you can accomplish so many things with a technology like IrisVision. So there are several different options out there when it comes to digital technology. And when it comes to IrisVision, we've kind of reverse engineered the way the technology works, because we actually developed different software lenses that do a lot of the different things that some of those other digital type of technologies do, but with IrisVision, it's an all-in-one. So for example, we have the scene mode, which is basically a regular full color viewing mode where you could, watch sports or look at pictures, photographs, family members, things like that. It's a basic full color viewing mode. And then we have the colored contrasted reading modes, where we offer different colored backgrounds with, some of them are different colored text. Like we have the reading black and white mode, the inverted mode, which is a black background, white letters, green, which is a green background, black letters, and yellow, which is yellow background, black letters. And these different contrasts work really well for people who have different kinds of eye conditions. For me personally, I really like the reading inverted mode. But then we also have the RP mode, which is designed for people who have peripheral sight loss. And in reality, this mode actually works for anybody, but it's designed for someone with tunnel vision. So it works really well because it increases their field of view. And for someone who has tunnel vision to be able to have a wider field of view, that's something that, in my experience as a coach, I've seen it really impact someone's life profoundly. So then we have the bioptic lens. So the bioptic mode is another magnifier that we offer. We have 3 altogether. And this one in particular kind of allows you to be able to zoom in on specific areas that you're looking at, whether you're looking at something further away, maybe a clock on the wall, or if you're in the grocery store, you're trying to see the sign over the aisle, or looking in your pantry. That's what the bioptic mode kind of helps you do, because it helps you kind of pinpoint what it is you're trying to look at. So Then we have the bubble mode, which is pretty similar to the bioptic, but in this case, it's more of a rounded bubble that you see through in the middle of your screen. You do have the option to move it anywhere on your screen if you wanted to, but again, it's something that you could use to read your prescription labels or labels on cans or on boxes. Maybe you're trying to do your nails or something like that. That's what these different modes are really, really helpful with. IrisVision is actually an FDA registered device that has been clinically validated and developed in partnership by the National Eye Institute, UPMC, Johns Hopkins University, and also Samsung. With that said, Cheryl's going to go ahead and share some tips with us when it comes to daily living skills with for people who are low vision or partially sighted.
Okay, thank you, Myrna. Okay, so what we're going to cover today are the things or the areas or activities of daily living that I usually focus on when I'm working with a client. And that's self-care, which is basic taking care of yourself, meal preparation, housekeeping, taking care of your clothing and being able to dress and pick out your clothing, financial management, functional communication, which is writing and reading, functional mobility, and then leisure activities, which we don't want to forget. So we can talk about improving visibility with your self-care tasks. So there's personal care, taking care of your nails if you can't see them, locating the items in your bathroom that you need to find, healthcare. Can you find your medication? Are you diabetic? Do you need to be able to check your blood sugar? Do you need to check your blood pressure? Can you read those things? Can you take your own medication? Can you read the bottles? Can you tell them apart? And then eating. Can you find your place setting? In your own home, probably, but what if you go out to eat? Can you find the, clear glass on the white tablecloth and the white plate on the white tablecloth, or seasoning your food? And then finding the food on your plate, again, eating in restaurants. So a lot of the things that always have to do with any of these activities is, of course, lighting and contrast. Having a good task light for activities that you're doing, and it can be in the bathroom, it can be when you're cutting your nails, it can be when you're doing your medications, or when you're eating. All of those things are going to require some kind of lighting, and also contrast, making sure that what you're looking for is on a different color background so it stands out at you. You can also use divided trays or divided places in your bathroom to be able to hold your cosmetics or your small tools like your nail clippers so you don't lose them. Or a nail file. Use a nail file and not nail clippers so that you don't cut yourself. If you can't see where you're putting the nail clippers, just use a nail file. It takes longer, but it's very, very functional. You can organize your clothes by color, or you can use things like, I always tell people to use a safety pin in the label of their black clothes and not their dark blue clothes. So if there's no safety pin in the label, then you know it's black and it's not dark blue. And then organize them by color so you can tell them apart that way. And then you can mark pill bottles, either in very distinctive large ways in like a 3x5 card with large print, rubber bands, whatever way works for you. And that's where a therapist can come around and help you with those kind of activities, or obviously with magnification. So those are all low techs. And then magnification would definitely help with any kind of detailed task that you need to do. Okay, so I have just done mostly low tech, no tech and low tech. So Myrna, could you give us any information on how any of these could be handled with maybe a high tech solution?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I can come up with an example that I just had the other day personally. I needed a pain pill because my head was hurting. And our natural inclination as partially sighted people or low vision people is just getting up and going and looking and forgetting like, oh no, I can't see. So then I grabbed my IrisVision, I looked in the pantry or in the medicine cabinet, and I was able to find the medication I needed right away. And I didn't have to get like a magnifier or anything. I just slipped on my device and I was able to see right off the bat. So when it comes to high tech things like that, those little tasks, those little things that we do on a daily basis can be so powerfully impacted by a high-tech technology. So I know that I have someone who was very excited to be able to clean his filters for his hearing aid. And so his wife was very excited too, by the way, for that. So little things like that that we don't really think about, high-tech technology is really amazing for.
Perfect. Thank you, Myrna. And now for other activities, there's meal preparation. So when you're cooking, prepping, cleaning up, what do you do? Measuring. Again, cooking, using the appliances. How do you set your stove, your microwave, your oven? How do you know if things are on, they're off? How do you find things in your pantry? Do you find that it's overwhelming? Things get lost in there, particularly if it's a very deep pantry like mine. Reading recipes and instructions. That definitely requires some detail work. So some of the solutions for those that are low tech is keep items in the refrigerator in an order that seems natural for you. Also, I have people oftentimes section off an area of the refrigerator with a tray, a cookie sheet, whatever works, and frequently used items always go on that cookie sheet. And same with cookie sheets are great also for food prep. Anytime you're pouring or measuring, then you don't have to worry about making a mess. All of your mess is in that one section, and it's much easier to clean up when you're all done. There are ways to mark your dials with raised liquid that's called puff paint, and it leaves a raised mark that you can feel. And it comes in colors, so we also use contrast. It comes in orange, white, black, and many other colors, depending on the color of the background of your dial. And also isolating the tools that you use most often. On my stove, I keep my spatulas and my spoons that I use all the time in a container next to my stove, so I don't have to dig through a drawer to find them. Also, you may be using a knife rack that's on the countertop if you can, to just keep things handy. So it decreases frustration if you can make it easier to find something. And so let's now turn to Myrna about maybe some higher tech solutions for these.
Yeah, so with the high-tech solution, the convenient thing is that you don't have to hunch over and bend over and like try to look close at something. You could just see something from a distance. Like, for example, that burner is on. You're trying to see the knob to see if it's turned off or not. You kind of have to hunch over and use a little magnifier, like a handheld magnifier or something. But with a high-tech type technology, you can just stand at a normal distance and zoom in and easily see whether the knob is turned on or whether the knife is put away or different things like that. That's the ease and comfort of having a high technology type of tool, along with the other tools that you have for your daily living in general. The high technology just gives you that comfort of being able to do things at like normal distances by simply increasing magnification.
Okay, thank you, Myrna. And also, so there's other things. Improve your visibility while you're doing your housekeeping tasks. So say you're using your appliances, dishwasher, your washer and dryer. What about navigating surroundings when you're vacuuming your rooms or mopping your rooms? How do you see the detail of whether it's clean or not? Does it need dusting? How do you cleaning small items? And then also measuring the detergents. So the first thing to keep things safe is always remove clutter. Your cords need to be somewhere where you're not going to trip over them. Throw rugs definitely are a no-no, and I know they're hard to get rid of, but they're also often a hazard, so that you can avoid falls. And you don't want to have to be trying to navigate through that while you're also trying to do other tasks. And also creating those traffic patterns through your home that make you feel comfortable, things that work for you, that become common for you, and you do that. Also, contrasting colors, again, using contrast and lighting are always good ways to achieve most tasks. Contrasting colors, again, we can mark the appliance dials with that puff paint. And then using repetitive motion in terms of when you're vacuuming rooms or mopping rooms. If you can't see if it's dirty, then you have to kind of do this repetitive pattern back and forth so that you actually cover all of the space. Keeping good lighting, again, lighting and contrast are very important at all times. Good lighting in your hallways, good lighting in all the walkways, and making sure that your walkways are clear of any obstacles. And keeping your rooms organized, again, by using the items that are used in that room, keep them in that room so that they're, and always put them back in the same location so that you can always find them, rather than trying to figure out where you were last when you set it down. And Myrna, any pointers on this section?
Absolutely. So again, going back to that, having to bend over and look at things closely, like who wants to lean over their toilet? You know what I mean? To see if it's clean. So that's when the high technology comes into play. Because again, standing at a normal distance, you could just zoom in on your toilet, make sure it's clean, and not have to get real close. So same thing with like dusting, like you were saying, sweeping, things like that. You could, with a high technology type of tool, you can easily zoom in and see if you need to dust or clean, or if the mirror is clean, or, you know, different things like that. So I know for me, when I'm using my device, I definitely love to make sure that my kitchen looks clean, that everything is organized, and I'm able to just quickly just slip it on, zoom in, look around, and approve.
Thank you, Myrna. It's always great to get that perspective. Now into our next category, which is finances. And I know all of us in some way, shape, or form have to handle some form of financial management, whether that is handling your money, being able to identify your bills and your coins, and also then paying bills that we do incur, using a credit card, reading and organizing our bills, and then mailing our bills, and then writing checks if you still do that. Nowadays, everyone does I think once in a while. So organizing bills, again, I'm going to go low tech, is being able to, you can fold your money in your wallet in a specific way so that you can identify your ones from your fives, from your tens and your 20s. If you carry hundreds, good on you, power to you. I wouldn't fold those at all just because they're so special. And then, quarters have ridges along the edge where nickels don't. Dimes have ridges, pennies don't. That's how you can tell your coins apart. You can organize your bills and other important papers by keeping them in separate files, either color-coded or special places on your desk versus keeping them in one big pile where you have to sort through it all the time. You can also use technology in terms of being able to pay and track your accounts online, so you can enlarge the print if you want to and not have to use additional devices like large high strength magnifiers or glasses. And then there's adaptive equipment. There are large print checks that are available, and signature guide and check guides to help you be able to fill those things in without having to use other kinds of adaptive equipment. And Myrna, what about this category?
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to the signing of checks or filling out checks, things like that, man, I can't tell you enough how much my high technology type devices help me. My IrisVision is definitely something that's changed my life. I can actually fill out a check now without having to go to a specific area, like for where I have my CCTV set up or anything like that. Just wherever I am, I just can fill out that check and be done, and do the signature too. That's a big part for me, is that actual signature, because I always tended to not sign on the line or have to use a signature guide. But now with my device, I just zoom in, find the line, sign my name, and by the way, my signature is actually really nice when I can actually see what I'm doing.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Myrna. And that's so true, of being able to sign your name. I know my mom always has problems. My mom has diabetic retinopathy and never can stay on a line when she signs her name. It's always been problematic. So our next task is being able to improve your visibility for functional communication tasks. And those are anything that requires detail, for the most part, that requires reading. Reading is one. And then there's spot reading. So there's spot reading, which can be your thermostat, price tags when you're out shopping, reading the labels of canned goods, menus when you're out at a restaurant, even writing your own personal notes and then having to be able to read them after you write them. And then there's continuous reading. So we have books, we have newspapers, we have your mail. Some of it's longer than others, magazines. So the thing about all of these reading tasks that is problematic in terms of what devices you need to be able to read with are that there are different distances. So they can be near, and that would be reading your books, your newspapers, your mail. They could be intermediate, and that may be reading the canned goods on the shelves in the supermarket. It could be seeing your thermostats. That's really an intermediate task. And then there's distance tasks, and that's where maybe you're walking and you want to read a street sign, or you're in the supermarket and you need to know what aisle the cereal is, and so you need to be able to read the sign that says this is cereals down this aisle in aisle 5. So there's every one of those tasks distances requires a different strength of lens to be able to make the image clear in the back of your eye. And so the thing about having for all of these different tasks, you'll probably need a different pair of glasses or a different magnifier. So for distance, you need a telescope. For near, you might need really strong reading glasses. For intermediate, you might need less strong reading glasses, but it would require you changing back and forth to be able to figure out which one it is to have the right pair of glasses or the right lens for the appropriate task. And I know that there's probably higher technology out there that can help with this, so I'm going to turn it back over to Myrna for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Cheryl. So yes, there actually is, because with that higher technology with that IrisVision offers, you definitely have all these different things in one. In fact, I was just working with someone the other day who was so excited because she went to the store, she went to Walmart, and she was able to use her device to do exactly what you were talking about: locate the aisle, locate the price on the shelf. And the thing that she was most excited about is that she was actually able to see the size of the shirt that she wanted to buy. And she did these things with the bubble mode. So I thought that was really cool. I know for me, I feel the same way. When I go to the store and I'm able to just look at things myself, find prices myself, find the size of the clothing or anything else that I'm looking for, and just be able to do all that myself. It's such a awesome feeling to be able to do that with, and especially with just the one device. You don't have to pull out all kinds of different devices to do all these different things. You just have that one, and it's really, it's just such a sense of independence that I just have never really felt before. And that is completely honest. With the change that has happened in my life with IrisVision, it's been just a completely phenomenal change for me. Being able to have more independence and have more confidence and be able to do things myself without having to ask anyone else or have a whole bunch of different things that I needed to carry with me. I had my monocular, I had my magnifier, I had, the little tool that reads the colors or the money denomination, those type of things. All those little tools that always had to be carried now are no longer needed for me in my life, because I have this higher technology that has everything that I need in one, and that's awesome.
Thanks, Myrna, for that. That's always really great to get those personal experiences with technology. Okay, in summary, there are 3 ways basically that you can utilize to help you be able to perform your daily activities, and that's either using no tech, and again, that's using things that don't require any technology at all, like those puff paints and that kind of thing. There's low tech, that would be glasses, handheld magnifiers. Those don't require a lot of technology. You just be able to use it. And those basically have to be for one distance again. And then there's high tech. And so the high tech that I was used to in the past always did distance or it did near. And so you had, and now I think I'll give it to Myrna, who can tell you about this lovely high tech that does all of that.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for all that awesome information. Definitely appreciate you. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about that high-tech technology. Then we're going to talk about some actual data that we've collected from users who have seen some results when it comes to their daily living and other areas in their lives. So when it comes to the daily living, people have seen all kinds of different goals that they can accomplish, such as watching television, working on their computers, recognizing people by their faces, enjoying the outdoors more, even playing cards and board games, different things like that. As you can see from the chart, IrisVision has definitely helped people improve their lives in so many different ways when it comes to these daily living goals. So another way that people are finding that IrisVision is helping them improve their lives is in their quality of living, such as being able to interact with people more, being able to do more daily activities like outdoor activities, indoor activities, feeling happier, more confident because now they can see again, they could see the faces of their loved ones or their grandchildren or their spouse, having more feeling of independence and willingness to do things. Whereas, you know, without IrisVision, a lot of the time people fall into a depressed state of mind. When people start using IrisVision, they start seeing that all of a sudden they could do things that they maybe didn't do anymore because they couldn't see, or couldn't do anymore because they couldn't see. So being able to improve just the confidence, the independence, the willingness to get out there and go do things, whether it's indoors or outdoors or with family or with friends, IrisVision is definitely something that has had a huge impact in many people's lives, including my own.
Thank you so much, Cheryl and Myrna, for all of that insightful information you shared with us today. I really do hope that those of you in our audience were able to take some benefit from the various techniques that Cheryl discussed when it comes to improving your quality of life, whether that be with high tech or low tech. And you got a lot of background information about the ways in which IrisVision can benefit your life based off of what Myrna was explaining for us. So if you are interested in learning more about IrisVision, I do invite you to contact us. We're currently offering a compare and save promotion through mid-June. And if you send us a review for your current devices that you use for low vision versus IrisVision, we will be offering a $300 gift card rebate for a written review, $500 for a video review, and $300 off if your trial with IrisVision is initiated by this webinar. So if you would like to take part in any of these promotions, I will display our contact information at the very end of the Q&A session, and I do invite you to take part and see how IrisVision can fit into your lifestyle and benefit you. So now we are approaching the Q&A portion of our presentation. Cheryl and Myrna are both ready to take your questions regarding IrisVision, any of the techniques that Cheryl and Myrna discussed regarding low vision. If you are interested in asking a question, please do navigate yourselves to the chat or the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to type your question in the chat box and we will be happy to answer those questions for you.